So we were talking about this mind, and at this stage, there is such a strong identification with the mind that builds our ego. That is what I was discussing. What I said, we have such a strong identification, projection, superimposition of the events, life experiences that creates the false I. They are basically the problems in the mind. Why problems? They make us suffer. They sometimes act as a silent killers. I'm not talking of the illnesses. I'm talking of emotional and mental level. Sometimes they have a direct threat. Sometimes confrontation, sometimes frustration, sometimes reaction, anger, anxiety. They all come due to the identification. So, our master says that we should understand not only the nature and the function of the mind, but also the identification it causes. From the morning, the moment we wake up, you look at those identifications. I am a waker. When I wake up, so I call myself I am a waker. I don't consider this waking is a state of the mind. Sleep is a state of the mind. Dream is a state of the mind. And I am present in all the three states. Same, another superimposition, or you can say identification. Oh, I'm husband, I'm wife, I'm son, and the daughter. Another identification, I am rich, I am not so rich. So these are I am. I am plus. We don't see I am plus rich, I am plus waking state, I am plus sleep state. I don't see that way. Normally we take it for granted. So when we take it for granted, then it causes the problem. Don't you know that I'm your wife, I'm your husband? How dare you? You see that. So the problem is between the husband and the wife. Problem is between the sibling. Problem with the labels. So the moment you remove those labels, and where you have to remove the labels, it has to be done mentally, emotionally. We don't do it and we fall into the problems. Identification. Whether you say it is identification, whether you say it is delusion, look at the normal. I have been giving the example, the water in the mirage. So if I don't know, if I don't understand, I identify myself. So this identification, what master says that I have to separate it. The first thing to do is to understand this mind completely and clearly. So the mind is not a single entity, but has different functional aspects. We have to sit down and see. The moment the mind says I'm stressed, my mood is swinging, I'm identifying myself with the mind either from the past memories or from the reaction or the conflicts. So, as I said, mind is not a single entity, it has four functional aspects. We have to keep a journal at least for a couple of weeks to understand. So, when I look at you through the sense organ, sensory input is received by the mind without any judgment. That is known as the mind. The moment I pass on the judgment, it becomes the intellect. The moment I remember something about you from the past, it is the mind is the same. Then it becomes the memory. And when I recognize them, that becomes the I thought, or what we say the ego. The ego lives in the mind, yes. Memory, yes. Information, yes. Decision, yes. Like a smartphone now, it acts as a camera. It can receive the messages, you can call, you can store the data. So I have to recognize this. Sitting daily, one, practicing daily, and then sitting at least, let me understand. And it happens to everyone. If you don't do this analysis, reflection, and meditation practice, then you are exposed. Say, for example, you are exposed to your relations. Mind triggers the memory from the past of a reaction. Now your mind is ready to react and get angry and agitated. So we say, yes, why don't you become aware? It is the memory, the outer sensory input triggers in the mind, and it triggers the mind, and now the intellect does not make a right decision. Let me hold it, let me think of it. And then we react to it. It is all about, so I told you, superimposition. It is all about identification. When you drop this identification, the life changes. The life changes completely. So we have this entity. First is the mind, as I explained you. The first hand, it receives. But if it is dictated by the memories, past memory, and then it accumulates those impressions, and those impressions triggers you in different situations, and it causes the reaction, anger, anxiety, duality, and a conflict. No, but intellect can take the right decision. Intellect is also within me. But mind overshadows it, either because of the memory or because of the impulsive nature. But why the impulsive nature constantly acts in my life? It is because of same identification. I identify. Whether you say it is identification, you say superimposition, that is the main problem. Problem is not in the world. My problem is not outside. My problem is inside. I look at a person and I say that guy makes me crazy. So it is basically a situational unhappiness. Situation is not unhappy. My mind, because of the identification, created situational happiness. So what we need to do, we have to understand first, we have to sit down, contemplate and reflect daily. Throughout the day, how many times, how to start it, how many times I was upset, I was into anxiety, I reacted, my moods swing. Then pick up each and every thought. Then look at the situational happiness and unhappiness. Put $1 million before a child who does not know what the dollar is, and put $1 million before us. Situational. So, because my mind creates that situational happiness and unhappiness, the child will play with it. Maybe it may throw it somewhere else. It will treat it as a toy. So should we also treat it as a toy? No. Now I understand that how my mind relates to the dog. Do I become impulsive? Get rid of the impulse and keep the dog. That we don't do it. Why we don't do it? Over a period of experiencing, over a period of experiences, those are accumulated in the form of the memory. It has built a strong I. It says, no, what I see is right. I don't want to inquire. So when we do not inquire, when we do not analyze, this anxiety, this stress, duality and a conflict are not going to go away from our life. The intellect has to be free to make a right decision, but if it is dictated by the mind, it will not happen. Third, same thing from the mind and the intellect. In the intellect, we have a thought, I thought. So when I say I am stressed, it is this I thought. When I say I am angry, it is this I thought in the mind. It is a function of the mind to identify with the I-ness. That is how the Eastern wisdom explains. So it is a sense of the self based on accumulated memories, events, situations outside. Again, all experiences takes place in the mind. What I said, all experiences takes place in the mind. Those experiences builds this false I. And that is why the real I hides behind it. So we continue to work with this identification. And the fourth aspect that I said, the memory lane, information gathering system builds such a strong memory, and that mind triggers constantly from the memory, and it defines our personality, our behavior, our attitude. So first, we understand what exactly is the mind. It has four functional aspects, even though it is one. So our master says it is only one. It means I am angry, one experience. After a few minutes, I am relaxed. Second experience. Third experience, I am in peace. All the three movements are a part of the mind. All the three movements are a part of the mind. So they creates a different compartment. And those compartments are the memories. And those memories, when they accumulate, they are unnoticed. It changes my personality in the life. When it changes my personality in the life, it causes lot of challenges in our, not only in daily life, in personal, professional, social life. So what I started the discussion first, I said identification. Whether you say identification or delusion, or you say superimposition. They are a little bit distinct, but ultimately they are the same. So if we define the delusion, what appears true is not true. Why I should not be agitated? This is delusion. Why I should be upset? That is a delusion. What appears true? And it is so easy to understand. Provided we sit, we have a conscious thinking and a contemplation. And what is the simple process of contemplation? Whatever I experience today and whatever I have experienced in the past, I have to look for the cause of it. When you don't find the cause, it is a delusion. And I have given that example many a times. When you start inquiring whether there is a water in the mirage, no, logically. So logic has to be applied again and again. Why? So when you apply the logic, the first part you find there is no water. So that now the next time you see the water in the mirage, you know it. Internally you know it, and still you see the water. So what is perceived is you don't find the cause, that is delusion. What I perceive at a subtler level, I am a waker. I am a waker. No, it is a mental waking state. It is a mental sleep state. It is a mental dream state. That I am a waker is the delusion. Why? The I is present in all the three states. Even in deep sleep, I is present. If the I is not present, we are gone. That is known as the death. That is very subtle, but we start from the daily life. Anxiety, let me find out. No, you made me crazy, but how anyone can make me crazy? I never think in this way. So our masters wants us to think and contemplate in a right manner, to find out the cause and effect relationship. And the more and more you say, is it necessary that my mind should be crazy because of any person outside situation even? No. The moment you start thinking, your intellect becomes clear. Intellect says there is no need. So in religions, this is what is known as the conscience. Don't start, creating unnecessary labeling to it. It is the soul. No, it is the intellect. I made a right decision. Something deeper inside, in the moment of the awareness, I recognize that it is not required. You do it 1 time, 2 time, 3 time, week, 3, 4 weeks. Now what happens? That intellect lives in a higher awareness. Before you go into anxiety, reaction, conflict, and problem, it becomes aware. And that is what we say, this self-awareness. And that self-awareness helps us to start purifying the mind. So Master adds another topic. It says these movements of the mind, which is searching for a situational happiness outside or situational sorrow, both factors are there. I get upset with you or I am happy with you. So both, my mind says, oh, you made me happy and you made me crazy. So it is, both are situational. As such, there is no situational happiness. They do not exist. Like water does not exist in the mirage. We cannot find the cause. But what happens due to the identification? This mind says, you made me. Situation makes me crazy. We think in that way. So, what do you want to say? The moment I start thinking consciously, will this go? Try this. Try this. Unless you label any experience as stress or happiness, you cannot recognize it. It is not that in sleep you know that I was crazy with you. I am happy with you. At the unconscious level, you don't recognize it. Only at the conscious level. So that is why I say when you contemplate and reflect, you recognize, yes, this is what. So when you recognize, you understand, and the water does not exist. So the anxiety as such does not exist. Reaction as such does not exist. So it cannot happen in a day. It can happen by repeat practice, contemplation and reflection. But over that, I should be willing to do it. I am not willing to do it, then it will not happen. If I am not willing to change myself, and which is such a common factor prevalent in the modern age. No, you change, I do not change. You are responsible for my problem, I am not. Take simple example, we take it in such a simple way. We married, we were soulmate, and now after a few months we have a conflict. I don't analyze why he or she was a soulmate in the beginning and why there is a confrontation today. I give reasons which are not valid at all. Whereas the reason now I have recognized you are such a type. So he was also or she was also such a type whom you loved. So now you have a different preferences based on your impulsive desire. Otherwise, no, I don't want to live with you. So simple. Why the confrontation? Maybe my physical, emotional, mental needs are already met, or it has diverted somewhere else. So you see identification. Once you get rid of this identification, you will be free. But it takes time. It is not a one-day affair. One-day affair. That clarity is not there in modern science, even though they are progressing. If we talk in modern science, so our mind as such is not considered an entity in modern science, but we say mind something like a sensory processing and initial attention mechanism in a cognitive psychology. The intellect is related to the executive function of the mind, reasoning and decision making areas of the brain. Again, they refer to the brain. Ahankara, ego, to the neurological basis of self awareness. So again, they refer, it is basically a grey matter. Grey matter. So as long as we start understanding that all these functions, mind, intellect, memory, and I thought comes from the grey matter. Matter is inert, any matter. Brain is a grey matter. Matter is inert. So as long as we understand that consciousness is created or originated from the inert matter, we will not be able to solve the problems of the mind. And that is what is happening. During the last 200 years, we have increased mental illnesses many-fold as compared to the basic treatment. We are not saying that, understand what is happening in the science, but try to apply this in daily life. Our goal is not to treat, even though the treatment takes place, or management, or you can say stress management takes place. But our goal is to find that real self which is independent of anything outside, which is independent of situational happiness or unhappiness, it that real self is not identifying with the mind, intellect, ego, and the memory. And there we get the freedom. In every freedom, there is always a peace and happiness. Let us close your eyes and we start with practice. Eyes are closed and place position in the posture. So it is all about self-awareness. So the place of the body and your place also. You see that? If you practice meditation outside in a coffee shop or you practice meditation at your home, so the processing, the way the mind processes, that makes the difference. Nothing else. So the place of the body in a room where you are sitting, the position of the body, just have a feel, be aware, and the position of the body. Please check your body, your sitting position and the posture. Align your body so that there is no discomfort in the position, posture, and the place. Being comfortable, comfort. So casually you look at the neck joint, feeling neck joint. So when I say neck joint, that it is also a thought. So it triggers a feeling there. You feel, you know, you are aware that. So we are drawing the attention of the mind. Attention of the mind is hijacked because of the impulsive nature of the mind, because of the memory, because of the habits. So do you see that? We are raising our awareness and attention. So look at the neck joint. So you cannot see the neck joint from outside. So it means mind starts looking inside. So it is a change of direction. That is what we are looking in this simple but very powerful meditation. So you are looking at the neck joint, means mind has changed the direction. It is aware. You feel the sensation, comfort, and steadiness. So we are doing it for the sake of raising our awareness, rise in awareness. Being comfortable is a rise in awareness of the same mind. Fall in awareness in anxiety, in duality, in conflict. Simple way to understand. When you follow the principles of Eastern wisdom for a couple of weeks, your experience validates. And then move the mind on the entire body. Sometime I used to say, as if you are moving your mind, or as if the mind is touching the skin of your body from the top to the toes. Is it a change of direction of the mind? Yes. How you change the direction of the mind? through your awareness and attention. Does the awareness and attention has any shape or the size? No. That is why it is very difficult. So when we move the mind on the entire body from the top of the head to the toes, and we experience sensation, comfort, and steadiness. Sensation, comfort, and steadiness. So again, experience sensation, comfort, and steadiness. So you see that sensation, comfort, sensation, and steadiness. That is what we say. Our experience. So, do you still remember? I told you all experiences takes place in the mind. All experiences takes place in the mind. So it means I am different from the experiences. That is what our masters talk about it, and they prove it experientially. And the comfort is a common factor, it is always there. But what hides? That identified mind hides this. We will go to being carefree, So after changing the direction, we come to being carefree. So the first thing to check. What to check? Just ask yourself, am I in a state of place, position, and posture? Yes. Am I comfortable? We check it first. Do I experience? It is required for few weeks, and after that it becomes your experience in any meditation, in every. Do I experience sensation, comfort, and steadiness? Yes. Then alone we can move deeper. In any practice of meditation, even if you are doing any other practice, you follow these first three steps: place, position, and posture, being comfortable, and then being carefree. That what we are doing, being carefree. So in being carefree, we still experience sensation, comfort, and steadiness. We have changed the direction of the mind. We experience the state of comfort and steadiness. So there you are simply watching or knowing or aware of anything that happens to the mind. The mind invites the thought, unintended guest. They come and they go. So what is the problem? The moment they come, we don't see they are separate from, we get identified, we start chasing the thought, or a feeling, or a sensation, or memories, and that makes the mind wandering and distracted. So, can I recognize that in one session? Sometime it is possible, but it can come by regular practice, contemplation, and reflection. So, the thought has come, it stays, you experience, and it is gone. Thought has come, it stays, we experience as if the mind is chasing that thought. How to understand that chasing thought? The mind keeps on repeating the same thought again and again and again. That is the meaning. So when you don't chase that, you experience you are free. They have come and they have gone. That is the first aspect. And the second aspect of this being carefree is I know thought has come and gone, feeling come and go. So what it means, there are two entities. That is the deeper level of self-awareness. So what are the two entities? How simple it is, not only intellectually we experience. I know you. So it has two entities, I and you. So that you for me is an object of experience. You see, object of experience. And I am the subject of experience. I am the subject. Same way, you are the subject of experience. I am the object of experience for you. If you have understood it, it becomes a play and a fun, my friend. But any thought that comes to you, it is different and separate from you. Every thought is separate and different from you. Different from you. Like you are driving on a highway, busy highway, if it is to say, lot of traffic, but you are sitting inside your car and you are driving. That needs to be understanding is required. Once we understand clearly, you see that being carefree becomes a play and a fun for you. But what happens? You did the practice for another, say for example, half an hour, you forget it. Why you forget it? Because the mind moves into the same comfort, habitual, impulsive mode. No, I'm not anxious and reactive all the time. No. Yes, you are right. We are not impulsive and reacting all the time. But behind the conscious mind, those memories, accumulated impressions are always present. They may trigger any time because of the outer situation. So regular practice starts erasing those impressions. In one way, we say that is the purification of the mind. Any thought, feeling, emotion, sensations. My master used to say the moment any thought comes, my master used to say that you say, here is I am, and there is the thought, there is the feeling, etc. etc. Oh, that experience takes place, yes, it is very. So now, in that state of rise in awareness, place, position in the posture continues. Sensation, comfort, and steadiness continues. We know, we understand change of direction. We also experience uh, being carefree. In that state, we look at the breath. So when I say look at the breath, it means you look at the flow of the breath. We are not going there philosophically, breath is life. Looking at the breath means internally you're aware. Well, if you don't understand aware, I would say you feel the sensation of the breath. But I don't see the movement of the breath. So through the feeling and the sensation, I recognize the breath is going in and out, and you feel the sensation at the tip of the nose when the breath is going in, when the breath is coming out. You might have seen a lot of meditation practices are available on the Google where you feel the sensation. So even that comes from the Buddhist technique. So if you want to recognize the breath is going in and out, do you feel the sensation? That too is enough. So you feel the sensation of the breath. And you also feel there is no change in the rate and the rhythm of the breath, or just what? Even if the breath rate changes, why it changes? Our master says breath is related to the mind. When the mind is calm, the breath rate and the rhythm do not change. But if the mind, that is what hides behind the mind. Say, for example, the reaction that triggers and it changes the rate and the rhythm of it. So, are you controlling? No, not at this time, not today. You are just aware of the breath. Yeah, it changes. It's okay, you're aware. You feel the sensation that you just know it. Why? From being carefree, it is the next subtler step. You apply the same principle. What is that? Here I am. Here is the movement of the breath. Here is I am. Here is the sensation of the breath. There is the sensation of the breath. This is I am, or you can mentally recognize this is I am. This is the sensation, that is the sensation of the breath. This is I am, that is the change of the rhythm of the breath. You recognize both are separate, different. That very separation, you even for a few minutes, you recognize this is I am, That is the breath, that is the sensation, that is the movement. What happens? Even if the mind is wandering, you are in a different state. You are deeper within. You continue to see the mind, many thoughts. Your eye is not divided when you see hundreds and thousands of the birds flying in the sky. Right? Your awareness is maintained on the sky. There are two things. Hundreds of birds flying in the sky. So one is the common factor is the sky, another are the birds. Birds will come and go. The sky will remain as it is. That is what we need to discover. Once we discover, but it is not happening. I told you, it comes by regular practice. It comes by regular practice. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Bring your mind on the right hand, your mind on the left hand. Lift your both the palms, place it on your eyes. Open the eyes inside the palms, know your experiences, and bring the hands down. Open your eyes. How are you, Charlie?
I'm very good, Girish. Thank you. I found this week's practice very helpful. I think I got a bit more clarity of here I am, and these are my experiences, and that I felt my experiences are who I am, and the practice is going to help me separate from that, and that I need to keep reminding myself to stay open to that. This sort of the leap of faith, just saying, let's experience it and see, rather than you were talking about when you reach 50s and 60s, 70s, you're so set in your ways that there's no open door anymore.
Yeah.
So that's what I need to do.
Beautiful reflection. Yes, that is what we need. We have to break the shell. We have to come out of the shell. Why? How simply and beautifully you explain why I have to come out of the shell. Because I face a lot of challenges. And now over those mental and emotional challenges from the past comes the physical challenges. So we have challenges from all over. And now is the time to break the shell, come out of it. Beautifully narrated, beautiful. How are you, Anne?
Yes, I feel fine. Um, though a lot of things were going on, but not that important. So
Yeah, yeah.
I could get away or just leave it going without being troubled.
You're driving on a highway, hundreds of cars are running, but still I keep on driving smoothly, provided I'm aware and attentive. I'm also aware and attentive of the car behind me, car in front, car on each side. So now claim that these are the many thoughts from all around coming, and I'm still free. Why I am free? No identification. Why I am free? No superimposition. Why I am free? There is no delusion. So that is true at the physical level, but I have to apply the same principle internally to get rid of the past impressions, identifications, and attachments. That is all for today. Thank you very much.